What's up, guys? I know this was an unannounced live here, so I don't know if anybody will hop on. Um, so I sent out an email about this, and I know I've maybe talked about it on a few lives here in the group indirectly, but I just thought I'd make one simple video on it. And just like everything that I do, I try to make things very straightforward, very simple, very logical here. And I just wanted to kind of give a 2-3 minute rundown as far as keto goes, because I would say, I talk to so many people reach out. One of the most common questions I get is like, "Hey, Bo, what are your thoughts on keto?" Or so many people have tried, the keto diet in the past that I talk to, and it pops up a lot. Like keto is very popular right now. Um, and it seems like in the last 5 or 10 years it's been called keto. But keep in mind, low carb diets have been around, a long time. It's nothing new. I mean, 30, 40 years and stuff with Atkins and different things. But here's kind of my thoughts. I sent out an email about, keto, and I just want to make things really simple and straightforward. And as I've said before, I have nothing against any diet, any meal plan. It's not about that. I'm not a, anti anything. I'm anti common sense and I'm anti logic. So this is what I'll tell you. When you pick a nutrition plan, the number one question, not only in nutrition but in fitness, is can you do this and sustain it the rest of your life? If the answer is no, you really, put it bluntly, you're wasting your time, because sustainability is the key in anything you do in fitness. You have to be able to eat this way the rest of your life. Now, a lot of people, and I'll probably get people comment on this video, that people reach out to me when I say that, and they're like, "Well, Bo, I lost 30 pounds on keto, and you know, I can do this, forever." And what I'll tell you is, I really hope you do. Like, I hope, if you can give up carbs the rest of your life, that's awesome. Like, truly, like, if you can do that, kudos to you. I never could. But if you can sustain it, that's awesome. But I feel like people who tell me that are usually like in this honeymoon stage where they've been doing keto for 3 or 6 months, they've had success and they've lost weight and they're really amped up about it. But then, to be real with you guys, like, I'm curious as where they're at in 3 months, where they at in 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, and see if they've really kept this weight off. I've talked to so many people that will do keto, have results, and then down the road they incorporate carbs back in and they gain the weight back because they can't. Life happens. Like, carbs are good, and it's vacations, it's holidays, it's birthday parties, it's happy hours, it's all this type of stuff where at some point they just have reach their breaking point and they don't give up carbs and they bring them back in, and then it starts to get messy, and then boom, they just gain that weight back. So it's just really unrealistic for a lot of people to give up carbs the rest of their life. Like I said, I never could. Um, and the other thing too is, like, so that's the first thing. I worry about people being able to make it sustainable, because for 99.999% of people, it's just unrealistic, to give up carbs the rest of your life. When people are real with themselves. And I know people also say, "Well, Bo, if I ever challenge anybody, they're like, 'Well, Bo, I'm just doing this right now to lose the weight, and then I'll bring carbs back in, or I'll taper off.'" Okay, you lose the weight. That's where people struggle again, because bringing them back in is a very delicate thing to do, and people, like, once it's kind of like an addiction. Once you introduce carbs back in, they just go bonkers and can't slowly bring them back in and stuff. So I just see that being an issue where people will lose weight on keto and then gain it back. And just as far as my thoughts go, like, keep in mind, keto, like any diet you try, is not a magic formula. All it's doing is getting you to eat less consistently so you lose weight, in a calorie deficit. So what happens is, with keto, obviously a lot of people overdo carbs. People like carbs, and it leads to binge episodes and stuff like that. So when people cut out carbs, well, duh, when you take out an entire food group, people tend to eat less. That's how keto works. But I promise you, I don't think there's anybody in this group that can eat 4 or 5 thousand calories and lose weight. So I'll tell you, like, carbs aren't the problem. If you did keto and you ate 5,000 calories worth of, like, steak, bacon, avocados, eggs, all that type of stuff per day, and you ate 4 or 5 thousand calories of it, I don't care if you're not having carbs or not, you wouldn't lose weight. So it's, again, it's not, oh, carbs are the devil, all this type of stuff. It doesn't matter. At the top of the pyramid, what still drives results is the same no matter what diet or what nutrition approach you're using. So that's the biggest mistake. People get so caught up in these like small rocks and stuff. Like, I just make it logical, with nutrition, and say, okay, there's different ways you can get from A to B. I know, because of myself, like, the best way to make it sustainable is it's not about taking foods away from you and bossing you around and saying, hey, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have this, no sugar, no sodium, no alcohol. Like, that works. That works. We all know that. You've probably done that before and lost weight, and then you can't do it forever and you gain it back. It's not about, when I work with somebody, it's not about taking things away from them and having them get results. Like, anybody can do that. It's not easy. It takes discipline. But what it's all about is, I look at somebody and say, okay, we're not going to sit here and pretend you're never going to have bad food the rest of your life, right? Do you agree? They're usually like, yeah. So it's, how can you still have those things here and there and still get results? Because until people figure out how to incorporate bad foods and still get results, that's why so many people lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, and get up in this vicious cycle of yo-yo dieting forever. Like, this call isn't, I don't like to make things about me, but it is what it is. People look at me and they're probably like, oh my gosh, Bo, he's this fitness dude. He probably lives this boring life, never goes on dates, never has bad food, probably never has alcohol, never looks at carbs. And it's just simply not true. I live a pretty good life. Like, I enjoy myself. I have good food. Had a couple IPA beers this weekend. I had, like, what was it? The other night I had some pizza. The weekend before, my parents were in town visiting. We went to a Mexican restaurant. I had chips and salsa and a couple margaritas and quesadillas. Like, I know how to make it work. So that's what's all about. When I talk about nutrition and making it sustainable, I look at it as losing weight, maintaining the results that you get, and still going out and living your life, and not just being in your head as far as every single thing that you eat, going on vacations, going on dates, hanging out with your kids, birthday parties, doing things on the weekend, concerts, in the normal world, not COVID world, all those sorts of things, and knowing how to still get results. Because there's a lot of different ways that you can get there, but doing that is the sustainable way. So, hopefully that helps. I want to make this video short. I'm already like 8 minutes in, but I get, I have nothing against keto. If you're one of the small minority type people that it works for, like, that's awesome. But also, to, like, be self-aware. Don't just get caught up because you got results and you're in that honeymoon stage. Because, again, I've spoken, worked with thousands of people. I've probably talked to 5-10,000 people before, like, and I just see trends, right? Like, I'm in it. I see it. So just trust me when I say this, that so many people can't make it work forever. They enter the honeymoon stage. They get results, and then they can't give up carbs forever, and they bring them back in, and they gain the weight right back, or it becomes even worse, the relationship with food and stuff. The one thing that really bothers me is people who not only, are in that honeymoon stage and keto worked for them, but they push it on every single other person. Like, oh, keto's the way to do this. It changed my life and this and that. Like, awesome, but that might not, because you're the very small percentage of people it work for, that doesn't mean it works for your friend Bob or your, friend Susie, right? Like, the chances of it working for them, if it worked for you, are very small. So, I don't know. Hopefully that helps. But I get that question a lot and stuff. I have nothing against that. I have nothing against any diet. I just like to use a logical, common sense approach, and the way that works for people. And to build the best relationship you can with nutrition is not, foods to avoid or foods I shouldn't have, or this and that. Like, what drives results, it doesn't matter. Food is fuel. And at the top of the pyramid, what drives results is the same. And it doesn't matter what you're putting in your body. I can talk about, different things in regards to that and stuff. Like, yeah, you feel better if you have healthier food and stuff, but don't get so caught up in that. So hopefully that helps. That's all I'm going to say. And I have a live call here on Thursday. Where I'll do some more Q&A and stuff. So what's up, Carly? We'll see you guys later. I just want to hop on here and do that live, and hopefully that helps. We'll see you guys.